This is definitely bad news for RCR, since Richard Childress Racing signed Kyle Busch for the 2023 season. A rumor that has been circulating in the NASCAR industry since then has gained steam. Why did RCR choose Kyle Busch despite his poor performance in recent years? Is RCR making a mistake here? What are we missing? Wanna know? Then stay tuned to this video till the end. But before we begin, do subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. Kyle Busch will move to Richard Childress Racing for the 2019 season. This will end his 15-year career with Joe Gibbs Racing, which could not come to terms with NASCAR's only active multiple Cup champion. An announcement to this effect was made at NASCAR Hall of Fame. Busch will be driving for Childress in the number 8 Chevrolet. It was on his middle fingers that he displayed the 2 Cup championship rings that he had won while driving for Gibbs. This rumor is really getting heated, that why Richard Childress Racing chose Kyle despite his not-so-good performance over the past few years. What is it that we were not able to see but RCR saw in Kyle Busch? What are we really missing? Let's get into detail. Kyle Busch had the ambition of driving for a racer who was also a racer. Richard Childress noticed that Busch had a twinkle in his eye that brought back memories of the late Dale Earnhardt. Both parties put their differences from the past aside and worked together to reach an agreement on a multi-year contract that will have Busch driving the number 8 Chevrolet for Richard Childress Racing beginning with the 2019 racing season. This came at the conclusion of a lengthy exploration process during which Busch considered his options for 2023 and beyond. He sees RCR as a team that is trending in the right direction. Early in the month of February, he paid attention when attending the exhibition clash at the Coliseum. During the announcement that took place at the NASCAR Hall of Fame in Charlotte, North Carolina, Busch stated, "He guessed it started earlier this year when we were racing at the Los Angeles Coliseum when the 8 car blew my doors off and was going away. Right then and there, at the beginning of the season, it was very clear to him that those boys possessed a good amount of speed." Austin Dillon, Childress' grandson and driver of the number 3 Richard Childress Racing Chevrolet, suggested making a play for the 37-year-old driver Kyle Busch in 2022, when Busch will be in a contract year. Busch is tied for the 9th on the all-time NASCAR Cup victory list with 60 wins, and he is tied with Kevin Harvick for the most wins among active drivers. Dillon is tied for 9th on the all-time NASCAR Cup victory list with 60 wins. Being around Richard, talking with Austin, and getting the opportunity to just look at the complete picture of what's happening with RCR as of late, and he felt like it was a no-brainer, Busch said further. It just appeared to be their overall culture. When Richard and Busch sat down to talk about this chance for the first time, it didn't take much effort on either of our parts. It was very evident that this was the place to go if you wanted to win races and championships right out of the gate, and it was a choice that was easy to make. In the race for the 2022 championship, Busch will drive the number 8 Camaro instead of fellow contender Tyler Reddick. In July, Reddick made the announcement that he will be leaving RCR and driving for 23XI Racing beginning in 2024. Reddick's current RCR deal runs through the 2023 campaign without any changes. Childress stated that he intends to operate 3 chartered Cup cars in 2023. However, Reddick's crew chief, Randall Burnett, will serve in that capacity on Busch's team next year. Childress plans to run 3 chartered Cup cars that were announced on Tuesday. He talked with Tyler Reddick and explained to him that he wasn't going to drive the 8 car next year, Childress said. He wanted to have a conversation with him before making this public statement, since we have a contract in place for him to drive for RCR the following year. Childress is in the process of acquiring a top-tier driver for the Busch Series, who has a total of 224 victories across the 3 national NASCAR championships. Both Busch's 102 victories in the NASCAR Xfinity Series and his 62 victories in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series are series records. Childress said, "When he was up there with Kyle and we first started talking, and we talked about the championships, we talked about winning races. He looked him in his eyes and saw the same look in Dale Earnhardt's eyes, that he was hungry, and he's going to win." He has seen that look before, and watching Kyle, he has watched Kyle's talent since he started in the Xfinity Series, and just how he handles the car control, the way he drives, and the take no prisoners attitude. That's the Dale Earnhardt style he was accustomed to racing with. and he thinks Kyle has that modern-day style of racing that Dale Earnhardt had in his time. Earnhardt, of course, won 6 of his 7 Cup championships with RCR and was inducted into the NASCAR Hall of Fame as a member of the inaugural class of 2010, which was the first year the Hall of Fame was in existence. Despite the fact that the release verified Busch's status for the following season, it did not address many of the doubts that were raised by it. These questions included the origin of a charter for Reddick's 2023 ride and the source of funding for Busch's team, though Childress said he already had commitments and would announce sponsors later. The specifics of NASCAR Camping World Truck Series team that will be fielded by Kyle Busch Motorsports are not yet finalized. However, Busch has stated that he anticipates KBM will compete as a Chevrolet team during the 2019 season. This comes after Busch served as a flagship truck team for Toyota during his time at Joe Gibbs Racing. Busch stated, "Obviously there was an announcement today with RCR and Kyle Busch, and KBM has not been part of that yet, even though we are still working on that type of stuff with General Motors and Chevrolet." Next season, Kyle Busch Motorsports plans to enter the Truck Series as a Chevrolet-sponsored racing team. Whether it's 2, 3, or 4 entries, we aren't quite confident on that yet, but we're working through those things as best as we can right now, and hopefully, once more, we'll be able to make an announcement on that here in the near future. Busch and Childress had to smooth over some of the tumultuous past in order to reach an agreement. Childress ripped off his jewelry and hit the KBM driver in 2011 after Busch got into a collision with an RCR truck driven by Joey Coulter. This incident occurred after Busch got into a collision with the RCR truck. This altercation came to be known as the Hold My Watch event after it took place. At the press announcement, Childress surprised Busch by presenting him with a brand new Rolex watch in the form of a signing bonus. Childress was quoted as saying, "We both have developed a lot over the course of time. We discussed it, and at this point, it's all in the past." Busch is moving into an organization that he will have to rebuild in 2023 because he is 38 years old and has just passed his prime. I'm not saying he's not at his peak, so don't hate me too much, but his prime years were spent with Toyota and the Gibbs organization. Kyle Busch's career is on the decline. A driver who has been performing much below championship standards, he has joined a squad with high expectations and has underwhelmed thus far. Has recently signed on with a squad that hasn't been in the playoffs in years. As a result, we don't see much hope from growth from this partnership. To argue that the two have a promising future together is a stretch. Do you think Kyle Busch made the right decision and Richard Childress chose the right candidate? Let us know in the comments section below. And that brings us to the end of the video. Feel free to let us know what you think about the video. And if you liked it, then please leave a like and subscribe to our channel for more updates on NASCAR.